Hello, welcome back to the Authentic Creative, expanding our capacity to feel good. I'm so happy because this morning I have my dear, amazing friend Sierra, and I'm going to just share with you very quickly what Sierra is all about. So, Sierra Sophia Mercier was born and raised in Sun Valley, Idaho. She is a US figure skating triple gold medalist and former competitive figure skater turned actor, producer, author, and mom. She and her husband were the first ever winners of the Knot.com Dream Wedding Sweepstakes in 2013. They dedicated a portion of their honeymoon to volunteer work and then created an online travel series called Love, Set, Run, inspiring people to make their travels altruistic. Sierra is also an award-winning floral designer, artist, poet, and adventure athlete. A practicing Buddhist for over 15 years, Sierra is passionate about life, the planet, and helping people bring out their best, most loving selves. So you guys can connect with her on Instagram at Sierra Sophia Mercier or through her website, sierramercier.com. Also, her love notes every Monday, Monday morning musings, Monday mountain musings.
Nailed it.
It's so good. And I love getting those. And I don't like getting very many people's quotes newsletters, but yours I keep in the inbox. They're really special. Sierra is like very kind-hearted, huge heart, heart of service, heart of gold, very authentic. I feel like I've known you forever. And, I've been facilitating breathwork for you and your loved ones in person, online. It's been such a gift. Oh my God, such a gift to have you in my life. So thank you for being here. How are you feeling? How are you doing? What's going on with you? What's up for you?
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much for that beautiful intro. And I just echo everything that you said. I feel like I've known you forever and you are such a gift in my life. So thank you, Siri.
Mm.
Oh, what's going on? Well,
Big general question.
yeah. When I set out to write my first book, How to Attract Your Cosmic Love Partner, I guess in the back of my mind, I thought I had a few books in my arsenal, but I had no idea what they'd be about or anything. But the second book has come in, and I'm working on writing my second book, which happens
So
to,
exciting.
thank you. I'm excited too. Writing a book is a wild process, I have to say.
Yes. I was up at 2 a.m. last night because I couldn't sleep. And I came down and started working on the second draft of my book. And I was like, this is so tumultuous to like relive these things. Ugh.
Nice. Yeah, totally. It's like such a inner roller coaster, um, on the deepest level of having to relive things that you already experienced, but then also the doubts and
Right.
the little inner monologue that's like, do you really want to talk about that? Or you really want to say that? Or is this really what you want your book to be about? Or I didn't, what if this doesn't go? And like, just what if no one
Oh
likes
my
it?
God. Sierra, how, this is
Confronting
so
all that.
good. How do you silence the inner critic? This is so good.
I, Anytime that voice arises, I really have to just bring myself back to the present moment and also back to all the intentions and the prayers that I've set for this book. And just
Right.
to trust whatever is coming through me and to
Mm,
not edit, just
mm,
let it flow. If this is what's coming through, let it out, write it down. It can all be edited later, but the voice that wants to clip and cut and edit as I'm writing is
mm.
just so detrimental and not helpful. And so I really just kind of go like, okay, thanks. I see you. Redirect and get
Right.
back into the flow that I was in and just trusting where I am and really letting myself drop into whatever it was that I was writing, going back to those memories. So my second book is about conscious conception. And so like
Oh,
going back into the whole story of how I came to decide I even wanted to have a baby, which was a huge monumental decision for me. My husband and I were married for 9 years before we, ever started having a family, and I wasn't even sure if I wanted children. So I had to go on a really
got
big
it.
journey to heal the parts of myself that were preventing me from taking that leap.
Mm.
I just feel like there's the sort of portrayal of motherhood and has having a family that you see in the media is very much like, I can't wait to be a mom, and oh, I'm finally a mother, and like la da da da. It's so beautiful and easy. And every woman has their own unique journey with this, but I
Right.
feel like my story is for the women who are maybe on the fence or don't know if that's something that they want
I
and
would
never.
never have guessed this about you because you come across to me as this completely devoted mom who, and which you are,
Yeah.
but I didn't know the journey you took to get to where you are of just being such a, floral blossom. Like you're such a bouquet. Like it's just like it just seems so, and that's perfect because this is why we need to have these conversations so that women understand, oh my God, it's not the picture that you see, it's so much more.
Yeah. And I just remember one of my best friends. She's, I think, 4 years older than me, but when I met her, I was 22 and she was 26. She was already like, give me a baby. I want a baby so bad. And I've met so many friends who have that urge, that maternal
Yeah.
urge. I just thought, oh, okay, it'll hit me when I'm later. And then, up until my early 30s, even, it never came. I never had that desire to be pregnant or have a baby. I honestly, I just really loved my life the way it was. I didn't
Yeah.
feel like I needed to add anything to it.
Right.
But it was so important to my husband. And
Yeah. Yeah.
we are cosmic love partners. Like we are whatever you want to call it, soulmate, twin flame, divine union, immortal beloved. I call it a cosmic love partner. And so there's a contract there. And I really dove deep and realized like it's me that has these internal blocks and these maybe traumas that I experienced when I was
Right.
younger that are preventing me from feeling capable or desiring that. So,
Yeah, and you guys can go back and you can listen because we dove into it, and Sierra and I dove into it in the earlier episodes. So it's a long process
mhm.
that you now are sharing and excavating in this book. And what else do you want to share about this book? Is there anything else?
Yeah, beyond just the work that I did to overcome that aspect of myself, the way in which we went about conceiving is, you know, I sort of I'm going to use the word conceived. I conceived this idea long before I even researched or knew that conscious conception was a thing. And
Okay.
so there's different and somewhat same views on what conscious conception is, but I have my own opinion about it. And for me, what that meant was I just had this image, this picture of going somewhere beautiful and special with my husband and creating a ceremony around calling in a soul that wants to make the world a better place.
Mm-hmm.
And that it's this really sacred act and moment. And I wanted to ceremonialize that.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, when I told my OB my plan, she went, huh, well, it can take a year to get pregnant. So just
At
come back to me when you're
least.
pregnant. Yeah, she
Yeah.
was very dismissive and like, laughed at my plan.
Sure. Sure.
But I just knew deep down, like, this is my vision
Yeah.
and I'm gonna I'm gonna make it happen.
And
And
you
we did.
did?
We did.
Oh my God.
We went to
Wow.
French Polynesia, which is where the humpback whales give birth to their babies. And that was one of the things that I wanted and needed to experience before starting a family. My conscious conception journey started 3 years before we had a baby because
Mm-hmm.
I wrote down what I called my youthful freedom list. And I listed out all the things that I wanted to do, experience, achieve, have before starting a family. Not
Right.
all those things happened, but it gave me a vision of what was really important to me in the next, however, I wasn't planning 3 years, but just until I was ready type of thing. And swimming with whales, the year we decided this is the year, it was like that was the number one thing I wanted to experience. So we
And what
combined
was
it
that
all.
like?
I'm swimming with whales.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, huh. Whales to me are the most consciously evolved beings on our planet.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
I just see them as these completely altruistic, divine beings of peace and love
Yeah.
that really get it. I mean, they are
Mm-hmm.
the largest mammals on our planet. They've been around for millions of years. I just believe that they hold all the wisdom to planet Earth and they communicate through song. I mean, how
Mm-hmm.
beautiful is that?
Yeah, like
And
vibration, right?
yeah, and
Yeah.
these songs that get passed down generation to generation and,
Wow.
tweaked here and there. And here's a fun fact about whales and talking about conception. Whales will consciously reduce procreation when they feel like their environment can't handle the resources of their population.
Oh, interesting.
Talk about something that
Being
humans can
in tune, yeah, with the
really
environment.
take a note from, yeah. Because I feel like we're really running out of resources. Or, I do feel like the earth will always provide everything we need, but we have to be in harmony with it. And right now we're out of balance, we're out of harmony, we're taking more than we're giving.
Mhm.
And
You're gonna
that's
make me cry.
I know
Oh,
it's
like Mother Earth.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 And so that's why conscious conception is so important to me because I feel like what a gift it is to give this being the gift of knowing that from the moment it was conceived, every cell of their body, of their being, was called here with a mission, with a purpose.
Mhm. Yeah.
And that their purpose is bigger than themselves. It's to contribute to the planet in a positive way.
Yeah. Mm. You're so deeply conscientious and you're so connected to Mother Nature and to Earth and to the planet and the animals and the trees. It's beautiful. I can feel your energy is infused with the wisdom of all of that.
Thank you. Yeah.
Hmm.
I was that little 4-year-old running out into the driveway and picking up the earthworms that were drowning in puddles after a rainstorm and saving the earthworms.
Are you vegetarian? What's
Hmm.
your relationship with that?
So I went vegetarian when I was 16,
Yeah.
and I was vegetarian for 8 years.
Yeah.
it was also throughout that time, I think I went dairy free when I was 13, mostly due to lactose intolerance, but I was dairy free for 9 years, I believe. And I, you mentioned in the intro that I was a competitive figure skater. So I was vegetarian throughout my whole competitive skating career. And, I was doing that based on my own moral ethics. And also at the time that I was skating, there wasn't a whole lot of information or even support around nutrition. So I was really on my own for that. And I was very unhealthy. Not only was I vegetarian, but I was also anorexic and bulimic. And
Oh my God.
yeah, training, upwards of 5 hours a day.
This is so common with athletes.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Especially
Wow.
sports like figure skating, gymnastics,
And
ballet,
dancers too. Yeah.
where it's not just your skill that's being on display and judged, it's also your appearance, your body. Yeah. So it wasn't until after I retired my competitive skating career, I continued to be vegetarian. I even went vegan for a little while.
Okay.
But then when I met my husband, um, his dad is an acupuncturist, and
Oh.
he gave me a treatment, and he could tell by my pulses that I was vegetarian. My
Mm.
pulses were really weak, and
Okay.
and also when he found out I had so many injuries in my skating career,
Yeah, yeah.
he was like, "Ah, this makes a lot of sense.
Uh-huh.
I wasn't giving my body the protein it needed to repair."
You needed like some bone broth.
Some some protein. No, handful of chickpeas wasn't doing it. And some,
Yeah.
egg
My
whites.
my oldest son is vegetarian since he was like, I don't know, like 8 or something. He like it's been a forever.
Wow.
Just he
Yeah.
doesn't like to eat animals.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it works for some people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
It
so
works for some. It's just everyone's so different.
everyone's different. But yeah, he
Yeah.
encouraged me to eat animal protein. And so I started trying to do it very consciously. And um, I will tell you that my energy felt like it doubled just
Okay.
animal
Yeah.
protein.
You
And
needed
over the
it.
course of the first year that I introduced animal protein into my diet, I actually lost weight. I lost 10 pounds without trying, like without doing, I was eating
Because your body was
more.
probably, yeah,
Yeah, I was
trying to
eating
hold on to.
was like, I would never allow myself to eat tacos or hamburgers or anything like that. But here I was eating like that and losing weight. So, but I do want to share that, it still was difficult for me to morally comprehend consuming an animal when I was vegetarian for so long for very strong
Hmm.
reasons.
Hmm.
And I used my Buddhist practice to find a way to harmonize these two, what felt like polarities to me. And, our practice is all about changing karma, right?
Yeah, and I wanted to get into this a little bit. So if you
Oh,
feel like talking about Buddhism,
yes, always coming up
I'd
on
love to hear
16
about
years
it.
now.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people, some of my clients that I've been introducing, and I'd love to be like, hey, listen to this episode. Sierra
Cool.
can tell you her perspective.
Love that. Yeah. So, we believe that we can change our own karma. And I also see how animals have their own karma. What determines a cow that's born on a factory farm feedlot versus a cow that's born on the beautiful grassy hills of Iceland overlooking volcanoes and the ocean and glaciers. Like, there's karma within the animal
Yeah, and so people
experience.
sometimes have a misconception of what we mean when we say karma as Nichiren Buddhists. So can you just explain when you say karma what you mean exactly?
Karma is an accumulation of causes that you've made throughout all your lifetimes.
Right, and it's not a punishment.
Right.
Yeah. It's just cause and effect, yeah?
Correct. Yeah. Just
Hmm.
cause and effect. Every cause has an effect, and the accumulation of those causes and effects creates your karma. But the good news is that from this moment forward, you can start changing your causes, which changes the effects in your life and changes your karma. And when you change your karma, you actually change the karma of your entire family, 7 generations before you and 7 generations in front of you. And I feel like I can feel the truth of that in my body, and I see the results of that in my own life and environment.
Do you practice morning and evening?
My morning practice is very strong. My evening
Amazing.
practice has been harder just now
How
that I've
long do you practice in the morning for?
a minimum of 30 minutes if
Okay.
I, if I if I get to. That's my
Yeah, you're a mom.
preferred
It's
goal. Yeah.
it's
But
not always easy.
leading up to having a baby, I had some big goals and dreams, and I was trying to hit a million Daimoku mantras before she was born. And so I was needing to chant almost like about 2 hours a day.
So when we say daimoku, we're saying Nam Myoho Renge Kyo over and over. There's another portion called Gangyo, but daimoku is just the basic, essential part of the practice.
Yeah.
So you had what's called a campaign. I'm so curious. Let's talk about a campaign that
Okay, but I also don't
you
feel
are, we're all
I
over the
didn't finish
place.
the
No,
the
I'll let you go. Sorry, I'm on
the,
such a tangent. Let's go on 500 tangents. No, you come back. You bring us back.
I just want to close out the whole like vegetarian.
Yes, please.
Okay, so chanting about how do I wrestle with the fact that I feel like it's morally wrong to eat animals, but my body is benefiting. And what came to me is that I have the opportunity to change the karma of the animals as well.
Oh,
And by through that, I can, or how to do that is that I make a vow to each, animal that I consume that I will use their life force to create a positive difference in the world.
oh my God, that's incredible.
So I'm transmuting, their life force energy into something that creates value for our planet. And that's just what
Wow.
worked for me.
That's a mind-blowing concept.
Hmm.
Okay. That's beautiful. I love that so much. Okay, so talking about a campaign in Buddhism, and let's relate it, if it's okay, to something about creativity and expanding our capacity to feel good.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I've sort of started a new little campaign recently, and
Yeah.
I'm upping my Daimoku from 30 minutes to 45. So it's really forcing me, if I get 30 in the morning, I have to do an evening practice of 15 minutes. So that's been really great for me. And, the purpose of a campaign is just to expand our lives and give ourselves the gift of what it means to really fill our own cups spiritually. That's what it is for me, at least.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I do find that when I feel stuck or stagnant, just energetically, which also reflects in my environment, things are just kind of, not going anywhere, or I feel like I'm not maybe growing as fast as I want to grow, then it comes back to this idea of a campaign and say like, and a campaign could be 1 week. It doesn't
Hmm.
have to be indefinite. It could be a month. You like, for a month, I'm going to make the cause to increase my practice.
And when you're first starting out, it's really like, let's test this. Like, let's get proof.
Mm-hmm.
And then you want more proof. As you go 15, 16 years later, you're like, what else?
Yeah. How many years have you been practicing?
16.
Oh my God.
Almost 17.
Oh
16 and a
wow.
half. Yeah,
So we started around the
about
same
the
time.
same.
Yeah, 2008. Amazing. Yeah.
So, creativity, how's that working out through your campaign? What are you seeing? What are you creating?
Well, I'm in the process of, like I said, writing my second book, but then also starting a YouTube channel. And
Oh,
I'm, uh, yeah, I think those are the two main creative things that I'm pursuing right now.
yeah,
Because I
that's
want to
enough.
create, yeah, I want to turn my cosmic love teachings and the lessons in my book into a YouTube series.
That's gorgeous. Oh my God, your videos are so amazing.
Oh, thank you.
You
The
have the best. They're just so, I mean, everything you do is like this, right? Of course, it's like anything you do is infused with your energy. So it's like beautiful and flowing and poetic and loving and like full of nature and spirit and energy and good vibes, right? So I can only imagine what the YouTube channel is going to be like.
Thank you so much. Oh, that really infuses me with a lot of encouragement. So I
Oh, yeah. And you do everything so professionally. Like you
think,
don't just half-ass it.
yeah,
Yeah.
that sometimes is to my detriment.
I get that. I get
Yeah.
that for sure. Overcoming perfectionism is definitely something I completely relate to,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, okay. So you have been, you still are a skater.
hmm
Let's touch on that for a moment, if that's okay. So, what's the most memorable moment? One of them, because I know there's so many that you've experienced as a competitive figure skater that you just would love to like remember for a second.
Oh gosh, honestly, it was my wedding. I got to give a skating performance at our wedding in Bryant Park in New York City on
So cool.
Valentine's Day.
So cool.
The irony is that I was unfortunately in a car accident 30 days before we got married, and I broke my ankle. But the doctor I saw misdiagnosed me with a sprain. So I was never in a cast. And mentally, I was just like, okay, it's just sprained, and I was pushing myself. And so that performance, I had to choreograph in my head, not, in my imagination, not on the ice. And the only time I got to skate was the day before our wedding, the day before I would perform it, and just hope that I could skate because I didn't even know if I could skate. So I choreographed most everything on my left foot because that was the foot that wasn't broken. And, I wasn't able to do all my big tricks and jumps and things. But I want to share a little story if I may.
Okay.
So, are you familiar with Florence and the Machine?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever seen her perform live?
No.
Oh, she's just this wild banshee on stage, like running around, throwing
Yeah.
herself on and off speakers, and she's just like, wow, so incredible. So she was
I
at
like to use
Coachella.
her songs for Primal Scream in the breathwork session.
Yes,
Yes.
so powerful. So I'd already seen her once at Coachella, and then she came back another year. And the first weekend, she broke her toe on stage because she was performing so wildly.
Mm.
And so for the second weekend, which is when we were there, her whole performance was sitting in a stool. Just
Right.
and Andre put me on his shoulder so I could see her because, she's far away. And as I was watching her and just like calling in Florence's spirit, I I saw that the wildness that she brings to her her performances was still there. it was like it was being funneled and channeled through the stillness on the stool. And that made, in that moment, I realized like that's the performance I gave in New York at my wedding. I couldn't do all the tricks, but the they were there in spirit, or like my
Yeah, it was distilled into an even more potent experience
yeah,
because it's all tingle, mind body tingling when you infuse it with the intention
yes.
of love and expression and community and purpose like you do.
Yeah, yeah. And I
Yeah.
heard that everyone watching wasn't just crying, they were like blubbering during my skating.
Yeah, I think it's so much about intention.
Hmm.
Like the way you infuse, just like with the conscious birthing, the conscious conception, I should say. Conscious birthing's the next step.
That's the next step.
But yeah, it's infusing things with deep consciousness and deep intention is what I'm hearing that you do with everything.
Yeah, and that goes back to the food that I eat.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
I really think that yes, cause and effect is is the law of the universe. We can't escape it. But, Nietzsche says it's the heart that's most important. And I think that is the same thing as saying it's your intention behind what you do that is most important.
Wow. And seek to collect the treasures of the heart is one of my favorite sayings, and I'm not saying it perfectly. Do you remember what it is? Put you on the spot, but that's the
Yeah.
intention of it.
More important than treasures of the storehouse are treasures of the body. And more important than treasures of the body are treasures of the heart. From this point forward, strive to accumulate treasures of the heart, something like that.
Ooh, that is good. Look at you. Oh my God. I love you're amazing. Okay, so bucket list. You don't call it bucket list, or you didn't. What did you call it? The 3 year period where you were going to do everything.
Yeah, well, like I said, I didn't plan this was going to be a 3-year thing. It was just, I decided, okay, there's a lot of things I want to do and experience before starting a family. So I just called it my youthful freedom list.
Youthful freedom list. So here's my question. What's another thing on the youthful freedom list that you're determined to accomplish in the next few years?
It's changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of my goals on there were related to my acting career.
Hmm.
And I've really moved away from that part of my life, that chapter of my life.
Yeah.
And so the goals that I had on there related to my acting career just they're not as necessary for me anymore.
Yeah.
And so I think they're being replaced with goals like my YouTube channel, starting a podcast, getting my voice out there.
Mm.
I think the reason why the book came first is because, and so easily, is because I think my voice needs to be out there, but I'm still kind of shy and scared to put myself out there. So the book was like this easy way of hiding behind like,
I mean,
here,
putting a book out in the world for
you
you,
read this.
I mean, that's not hiding to me. But I totally understand that you're like, and now here's the next coming out further
Yeah.
into the world and spreading my messages and my purpose and my mission further amplifying.
Yes.
Because that, I think, what you're saying is that was the foundation.
Mm, hmm. Yeah.
And
And
now from that foundation, it's like, okay, and now videos and now speaking.
yes, exactly.
Yeah, it's
And
beautiful.
also, I think the books just help me clarify my message.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, here's a fun one to wrap up. So, superpower choice. If you could have any superpower to enhance your creative work, what would it be?
Oh, definitely to like, I'd want to be able to insert more time, like be able to enter another dimension where I
Okay.
have unlimited time, even though time around me is still the same. You know, it's 24 hours. You can't change that in a day, but I'm somehow able to enter a like,
Collapse timelines.
yeah, like
Quantum
quantum,
quantum leap.
enter a new portal within that 24 hours where I can like feel like I have unlimited time to
Got
get
it.
things done.
That is the ultimate multi-passionate mama answer. Oh, for sure. For sure. Yes, 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 yes. Because you have so much inside of you that wants to express itself
Yeah.
and needs to be heard, and so many commitments. And it's like having to discern what's at the priority and not being able to do all of it at once feels painful sometimes.
Yeah, totally. And now we're at a time when we're planning on asking the next soul to join our family. So we're expanding even further. So one of the things that I'm chanting for, you could say, or, you know, my intentions are that taking my time is a gifted luxury and that I'm comfortable in the stillness, that there's no rush. Everything will get done. I have time and space for everything I want to do. And to just allow myself to enjoy the process
Yeah.
without it having to, because I think even throughout my acting career, there was just such a like a hunger to have it now.
Yep.
Want the success now.
Yep.
And I'm I'm off social media, which has been incredible for me personally.
Wow.
But I feel like that was also contributing to my need to like have it now because you have to have something to show for. You have to show that you're like you're doing well, you're succeeding, you're successful, and it's all happening now. And if you don't have anything to show for, then you get lost because people only want to see the the movies that you're booking and the being on set and how great you are and how almost famous you are. And you know, it's just,
Yeah, I think that's our way of relating to it. And I really honor and respect and admire you getting off social media. And also, I think because I've had this conversation with several people, it's like how we relate to it and what story we tell ourselves about it. Like,
totally.
yeah, and for you in this moment in time, it wasn't serving you.
Yeah.
So bless that you're expanding your capacity to feel good through making those conscious choices.
Yeah. It was really like a self-care decision.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And you're probably experiencing more of what you're wanting to experience
Totally.
because you knew what you needed for your body.
Yeah. And my intuition, my inner guidance system, my higher self was telling me I kept wanting to go to a retreat. I was like, I really want to go to a retreat. I really want to go to a retreat. But I have a 2-year-old. It's not like I can go to a week long Vipassana or, you know, whatever sort of retreat center. Ayahuasca, like, yes, please. I'm also still breastfeeding. So, you know,
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Oh
that's
my
not
God.
possible. But
Oh my God.
then, you know, it was like, I can find ways to retreat. I think what I really want, because the
Yep.
retreat is the like outside, seeking outside
Yep.
myself, but I can actually retreat into the sanctuary of my own heart and mind. And that's really what my soul is asking of me.
Bless that. Oh,
Mm.
yes. Yes, please.
Yeah,
Yeah, because the retreat's not sustainable.
right.
You come home and you crash and you're like, what's this life? Yeah. Oh my gosh, we could talk forever, obviously, obviously, obviously. And I love you so much, and you're such a gift. I'm so excited for the ways in which you're giving yourself grace and forgiveness and space to breathe, and the ways in which you're consciously choosing to create the life that works for you. And then through that example, everyone around you is affected in such a gorgeous way. So thank you for always looking at how can I be more awake? And it's beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. I fully receive that. And it just reminded me of Nichiren's quote, how could there be any other story more wonderful than your own? And if we are the script writers, the actors, the producers, the directors of our own lives, like
Yeah.
write the story that you want to live.
Yes.
And
Yeah. Just a decision.
yeah, if you don't want to, it's so simple sometimes. It's also complex. I get that. But I was just in the car driving and I was really frustrated about like something. I don't even remember what. And I was like, I'm choosing to be frustrated.
Right.
I can just choose to not be frustrated.
Yeah.
And I took a big, deep breath, probably three of them, and I let the frustration go. And I was like, I'm just going to enjoy where I'm at right now. Traffic can, it's not the traffic, it's me. So, yeah, we can.
Yeah. So to be continued next time, because we didn't talk about it today, but because there's too many things to talk about. But I did want to find out more about your trip to Italy, so that's to be continued.
Okay.
All right. Love you
I'll have
guys.
another
Thanks.
by the time we record again, I'll have another trip for you too.
Exactly. Exactly. And we'll talk about both of them. Love you guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here with us. I'm sure that you got some beautiful reflections for yourself. If you have questions, go ahead and connect with Sierra. I'll put her information in the show notes, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.